Hi there and welcome to this bonus episode of the Gazette's Hockey Inside Out Show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette, joined by my regular partners here. You know who these guys are. Former Canadiens teammates and 1986 Stanley Cup champions, Rick Green and Chris Nilan. Rick, the Canadiens going into the Eastern Conference Final against Carolina are 6-2 on the road in the playoffs and 2-4 at the Bell Center. How do you explain that?
I think they get a little bit overwhelmed with the response of the fans and the show, and it's actually it must be some kind of distraction for them because they obviously don't play as well for 3 periods when they're at home. And how do you put your finger out? You can do and say everything you want, but it has to come from the guys to kind of blank that type of noise out and find a way just to stay focused for 3 periods. And it's not easy to do. And anybody that's been at the Bell Center knows it's quite a show there, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and you just really have to kind of put the blinders on and the earmuffs and say, let's take care of the job that I have to do and not let that outside noise or the noise outside of what we have to do affect their overall play. So not easy to do, but they're going to have to find a way to get that straightened out.
Well, the 3 games against the Sabres at home, Knuckles, the Canadiens gave up the first goal all 3 games, twice in the first minute. You can't say they're not ready to play, but do you think they maybe are just overwhelmed by everything that's going on? I mean, you brought out the torch. Larry brought out the torch.
Listen, I don't. It's a playoff atmosphere. That should help shoot you out of a cannon, not overwhelm you. You should, like I always say, I'm in that runway. I'm coming out like a maniac. Like, hello. But let's look at who started those games. Suzuki, Slavkovsky, and Caulfield. He never changed it until when? Last night. He started Anderson and company. And the game started a bit differently than it had in the past, right? So, and I'm not – those guys have struggled, and they're starting the game. And I said it. They win the draw. They put the puck in, and Cole's the first guy on it. Chances are he's not coming up with the puck. It's not that he's not trying. It's just they cheat off the line. They get back to that puck first. He comes late. He's not going to separate anybody with a body check. And boom, the puck comes back at you, and all of a sudden it's in your net. So, again, I'm not putting all the blame on them, but you want to establish a game out there. You have that environment. Put those horses out there and get them in on top and start banging. And here's how we're going to play. And then that next line, boom, jump over, feed off that first shift. And you get back on your heels like they have in those games. Not good.
When you were playing along with Carbonneau and Gainey, Knuckles, did you guys start some of the playoff games?
Geez, I don't know.
Yeah.
It depended who was. It depended. A lot of times they wouldn't start the top line because they knew we were going to match it, And if they did, they change right away, and we'd find ways to get out there on the ice when it was the right time.
So the other side of that, Rick, there's 6-2 on the road. Is that just maybe a sign of a young team? I mean, these guys, they talk about how they're like brothers on and off the ice. Is just being together more often? I know after the first series against Tampa, rather than coming back to Montreal, they went straight to Buffalo. Keeping together, staying in the hotel. Some of these guys have young babies at home, which makes it difficult. Do you think that has something to do with why they've been so good on the road?
I think so. I think you're with each other like a large part of the days, and you exchange, you talk, you do all the things that you try and do to prepare yourself to be at your best. And it's not a bad scenario, and maybe they're going to look at putting the guys in a night before into a hotel and let them really concentrate on their task at hand. And we hated it when we had to do it, but the bottom line was it worked, and we stayed focused, no distraction, and you're getting down to the final strokes here now, and you got to do everything you can possibly do to give yourself the advantage to find ways to win. So I'm sure there's going to be some conversations on how they handle themselves, in this series.
I know Buffalo also struggled at home in the playoffs, and they tried that before Game 7. They had the guys stay in a hotel. It almost worked. They lost in OT. Knuckles, would you think about doing that if you were Marty St. Louis or Ken Hughes, having the guys stay in a Montreal downtown hotel before the home games?
I don't know if you change up what's worked for you right now. One, two, Greeny had children in retirement, Julia and Mike, right? And he was looking for that goddamn hotel, and he could never find it. He said, "Oh my God, I wish I did this when I was playing. I could take a break." But yeah, listen. I'm sure whatever this coach decides, or management team and coach, because they're a great team together, that the players will deal with it, whatever it is. So, that can certainly work for you and work against you if you go out and hit a telephone pole when you're not supposed to be out.
Is that something you think Knuckles and Marty would talk with Nick Suzuki about? Saying, do you think this is a good idea? What's the vibe?
Possibly,
Mhm.
possibly, yeah. But I'm sure Gordon Hughes and Marty talk about it, and
Yeah.
if they
I,
think it's the best thing for this team, they do it.
I probably should have had my kids earlier, so then I didn't have to deal with Knuckles coming into my place all the time and looking for food and what's for dinner type stuff. Not to mention the other stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
the
the
other
last
stuff.
year, so, Game 6 at the Bell Center, Rick, Larry Robinson brought out the torch. Knuckles, you did it previously. I know, Rick, you and Larry are really close teammates, defense partners. You were assistant coach under him in LA. Just what was it like seeing Larry? I know Larry afterwards, I said, you looked like you were going to cry. And he said, I was emotional. I had a lump in my throat, all these memories coming back. What was it like for you to be able to get back with him and see him do that?
Like usual, Larry will never change. We had a nice chance to visit and get caught up a little bit, and I know that he said afterwards he said it really touched him when he walked out and saw the type of response that the fans gave him, and there's a lot of flashback over an unbelievable career that he had. And at that moment, I think there was a lot of things, as Nux probably would say the same thing. A lot of things went through his mind, and just great souvenirs with just a unbelievable environment with unbelievable people, and just the fact that he came up to be a part of that and enjoy that just speaks volumes for the way the organization handles new and old players that have come through this franchise, which it doesn't get any better.
Knuckles, I know you're in the alumni lounge a lot. You're an ambassador for the team. What's it mean to these guys in that room to see, Jeff Gorton, Kent Hughes, they brought you guys back into the fold. There's so much intrigue now before every game. Fans are wondering who's going to carry the torch next, which I think is great. It builds up the anticipation. Just how much does it mean to the guys in that alumni room that they've done this?
Yeah, it's huge, and seeing Larry certainly. I'll never forget the first time I saw Larry as a kid in Boston at the Boston Garden. They had just got called up, and it was the first time I saw him play, and he did an end-to-end rush and scored, and I'm like, oh my God, they got another one. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this guy's huge, and to see him in there the other night. Listen, I love Larry. He was always good to me. I have a picture here in my room with him, got his arm around me and warm up, give me a hug, talking to me. I think we're in Boston, and he just, he comes to my golf tournament every year. I played with Mo, his brother, younger brother, who certainly was in the shadow of Larry, his career, and the both of them show up every year to my golf tournament. He doesn't have to do that, and he does. He comes. Just a great guy, a really good human being at heart, and he was a great teammate, a great leader, and a great mentor for the younger defensemen in Montreal back when we played. When Chelly come in, Svoboda come in, Luds. You can't say enough about the guy, and it was so awesome to see him there, and I know that emotion. I can't imagine. I can imagine what it felt like for him because I know how it felt for me. I extremely honored, and I know he was.
Rick, I know you must have a million Larry Robinson stories. Do you have a favorite one that stands out?
Um, I've got a couple, but only a few that I can share with you. But I mentioned before about I could never sleep when we roomed together in the playoffs because I had to wait for the hot apple pie and ice cream to show up into the room before he could go to sleep, and just if that's what it took for him to play the way he played, hats off to him. But I also have to mention Larry is an individual that has never changed in all the years I've known him. He will always take time for anybody that he meets and give them as much time as he can to share and exchange stories, and that's why he's so well respected and recognized everywhere he goes because his ability to be with people and try and make them happy. He has all the time in the world to give to people that he'd like to give back to, and he's a great guy for that.
I remember when I first came in the Canadiens, and I had been there for a little bit, and I remember my first year, and I remember after practice one day we were joking around. I was laughing. I'm like, just sitting in that locker room, and he come up and he stood in front of me. He goes, "You're having fun, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Well, enjoy it because it's gonna go like that." And he snapped his fingers, and I was like, "I don't want to hear this," like. It sounds like my father saying, "Time flies, time flies," and you know what? They're so right. Like, and Marty, I think, says it best. You're out of hockey a lot longer than you're in it, and the sooner you realize that, the better for you as a player. You got to leave it all out there and every night and apply yourself for as long as you can because, like all athletes, and that's the tragedy of it. Your body betrays you at one point, and out the door you go.
Well, it was certainly great seeing Larry back at the Bell Center, and now the anticipation to see who's going to carry the torch in for games 3 and 4 against the Carolina Hurricanes. That'll be exciting. Anyway, that's it for this final bonus episode of the week. I hope you all enjoyed it out there. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out YouTube channel, and you can also get Hockey Inside Out now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll be back with another Hockey Inside Out show, weekly show, next week after the first couple of games are played in Carolina.